Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, in the previous lecture we have understood about the term that is absorption as well as the adsorption. So in this case also we are going to talk about the colloids which are behaving the same property, that is adsorption, and because of which basically the colloid particles, they can acquire a positive charge or they could acquire a negative charge. So this is the term that we are going to talk about in this topic. So now let us understand it. So in this topic basically we are going to learn about that is how and why basically the colloidal particles, they acquire charge on it, and basically how basically they can acquire charge on it. So this is what we are going to talk about in this topic. So now let us understand this property of certain colloidal particles. So for that we should understand that is the electrical properties of the colloidal dispersions are associated with the existence of electrical charge on the colloidal particles. And we know that a colloidal solution, it consists of an electrolyte also, and that's the reason that the colloidal particles, that is the dispersion medium as well as the disperse phase, they can acquire a positive charge or they could acquire a negative charge. And this phenomenon arises because of the concept that is adsorption. So during this process also basically a particular colloidal particle, they could acquire the positive charge or the negative charge on it. And how? Let me tell you about that thing also. So whenever we are talking about a dispersion medium as well as a disperse phase, and these two particles, obviously they will have equal and opposite charge to each other, and that's the reason that the overall colloidal solution will be basically neutral in nature. So suppose if we are concerned about the how basically a charge could acquire on a disperse phase, so that is what we are going to talk about here. And let me give an example so that we could understand in a very better manner. So let me give an example, that is, suppose if we have a particular solution that is in an excess amount, that is if we are talking about that is an AI solution. This is an echo solution which is present in an excess amount. And suppose in this solution we have added AgNO3. So obviously we could say that AgNO3, since it is an electrolyte, obviously it will dissociate into Ag plus and NO3 minus. So for that term, let me introduce that. Suppose Ag plus is the one which we have added in an AI solution. So obviously the product that we could obtain is basically AgI. So this is the product, that is AGI is the one that could be obtained. And the thing is, it doesn't stop over here, because obviously we know that the colloidal particles, or whether it could be a disperse phase as well as the dispersion medium, and suppose we are talking about the disperse phase. So suppose if the disperse phase is negative charged, so therefore the most of the other disperse phase particles, obviously even they would be a negative charge. So obviously that's the reason that they repel each other, and that's the reason that the precipitation doesn't occurs. And that's the reason that the two phases, that is when we are talking about the disperse phase as well as the dispersion medium, they are separated from each other. So now let me talk about this thing first. So suppose whenever we are reacting, that is Ag plus or AgNO3 with NaI solution, obviously the product that we could obtain is AgI. But since we know that this kind of particles, they have a phenomenon, or they have a property of adsorption. So obviously in this case, since we have added Ag plus over here, so in that case basically because of the common ion, obviously that is the other ion will be also occupied on this thing, because in this case basically NaI is the one which is present in an excess amount. Obviously we could say that is there would be more amount of I minus, and because of AgI has been produced, and because of the common ion that we know, that is I minus, it will be surrounding, that is the AgI particles. And this is how basically the AgI will be, or this particle, it will be surrounded by a negatively charged species, that is I minus, and that is how basically the particle gets negatively charged. So this is how basically the disperse medium or the disperse phase, they get charge on it, and this is the concept that we are learning in this topic. And this is how basically the charge can acquire on a colloidal particle. So this was related when whenever we have added, that is AgNO3 in an excess amount of NaI, and that is how we could obtain a negatively charged species or negatively charged colloidal particle over here. But what if the example is reversed? Suppose if we take another example, suppose we have basically AgNO3 solution, and that is basically in excess amount. And in this case, suppose if we are adding NaI solution, so in this case basically the main concern thing about is basically I minus. So this is basically the dilute solution of NaI solution that we have added in the AgNO3. So the product that we could obtain, obviously the product it will be basically AgI. So this is the product that we could obtain. So this is, the reaction is very much similar to that of the previous example that we have did. That is whenever we react AgNO3 with NaI, obviously the product that we could get is basically AgI. But in this case, it is reverse. In this case, basically in the previous one we have taken AgNO3 as an solution that we have added in an excess amount of NaI. But in this case, basically we have AgNO3 which is present in excess, and we are basically adding NaI solution. So the product that we get is basically AgI. But thing is that is again the phenomenon that we could learn over here is basically adsorption. So in this case, basically if we observe that is since AgNO3 is present in an excess amount, so obviously and the product that we obtain is AgI, so obviously there would be excess amount of AgI plus. So this Ag plus is the one that has been present, so that would occupy the space, or that would acquire around this Ag, and that is the reason that Ag plus will be surrounding this AgI particle, or that is the reason that this particle or this AgI will acquire a positive charge, while in case of the previous one it was acquiring negative charge because I minus was surrounding the AgI particle. And now it is basically it is reversed, and here is what we could find, that the AgI is the one that could acquire a positive charge. So this is what we are going. We have a main intention to talk about, that as a particular colloidal particle can acquire a positive charge or can acquire a negative charge depending on how we give the conditions to it. And this is what I was concerned about, and this is what I want to talk about, that as a colloidal particle can acquire a electrical property, and this is what I was talking about. So that's it. So thank you friends for watching this video. I hope you have understood this video very clearly, and you have got to know the various concepts behind this one, that how basically a colloidal particle, whether it could be a dispersed phase or whether it could be a dispersion medium, can acquire a positive charge or a negative charge. So that's it. I hope you have understood this lecture very clearly, and I hope you will share this video with your friends. So till then, don't forget to subscribe Ekeeda channel. Thank you so much.